What's up guys, Houndish here, and today we're jumping in with some Destiny 2 news and updates, alongside the launch of Revenant that we've had over the reset. So, of course, whenever we get a content launch, Bungie tend to have plenty of updates to give us, and they do that today. There are some broken exotics and fixes that they mention, as well as additional hidden patch notes, so we'll touch on all of that stuff. Plus we learn about some hidden upcoming rewards for this episode, new activities, and the return of Prison of Elders, which is being updated, so we'll touch on that, upcoming upgrades for Revenant content, hidden weapons, event items, and even some interesting collaborations, which look like they'll be hitting Destiny soon. That one includes a Street Fighter crossover. And so there's plenty to talk about today, guys. As always, I hope you enjoy the video and find it useful, but now let's get into it. And so first up, the Destiny 2 team says, we're rounding up a handful of missed patch notes for quality of life changes that shipped today, and that includes that they've increased the armor synthesis bounties available from Ada 1 per episode, and there are going to be 18 per episode now, which is nice. On top of that, we can access the vault from anywhere, even in activities now. So Bungie finally got around to adding that full functionality, which is pretty useful. Separately though, there are some bugged items, and Bungie Help said the Hunter exotic mask of Fealty is not consistently producing the spread of withering blades when defeating a frozen combatant, but the effect works as normal when shattering a stasis crystal, and they're currently aiming for an end of October hotfix. So we need to stay tuned for updates on that. Kind of unfortunate that a new exotic is bugged. They also say we're currently investigating an issue where players are unable to change their Bungie name, and that due to an issue, the Last Word exotic hand cannon has been disabled in the Crucible and Gambit, and that one is two-tapping all players at the moment, which obviously isn't intended. Bungie also say that they're tracking issues where players may be unable to exit the tonic capsule screen and become soft-locked, and this is circumvented by opening the director screen. And on top of that, the loadout and mod menus are more difficult to access. Plus there are a handful of issues bringing up the director, certain controller inputs, even the D-pad on PC and things like that, so a few weird ones. But at least it appears that Bungie are aware of them, so hopefully they'll get sorted soon. The Destiny 2 team also points out, for the launch of Revenant, there's some new shiny loot in competitive Crucible. One of them is this shotgun, which is called the Deadlock, and it's a stasis precision frame shotgun. So if you're interested in that one, search Deadlock on light.gg and you'll be able to see the potential bonuses. Also related to PvP, and this could be fixed any time now, but players have pointed out, depending on your Trials rank from last season, Satan 14's new rank rewards seem to still be obtainable. So if you hit rank 10 last season, many players have been able to visit Saint and actually pick up the rewards for this season all the way up to that rank. So worth looking at if you haven't done it just yet, but keep in mind this is something that will likely be fixed very quickly. Onto Revenant's core content for a moment though. A lot of players assumed that we were done with Act 1 after completing the handful of quest steps that we got initially yesterday. But as we've discovered, there are more quests to complete. Most of them are fieldwork quests, which we can find at Ido. After completing the first couple of quests, that menu will tell us that we need to discover new potion recipes in order to unlock more of the quests. And essentially, if we buy lower tier options of potions repeatedly, over time it will unlock higher tier ones, and when we get those higher tier ones, obviously the effects improve, but also more fieldwork quests unlock. And a lot of these are related to upgrades for the episode, but there are sort of minor story bits in there as well. So keep that in mind. There's more progress to make at Ido and the fieldwork screen, as well as the potion kind of component. And eventually, I'm not sure precisely when we'll start getting access to these, but there will be some exotic enriching tonics, like the tonic of Ascendant Alloys. That grants chances at Ascendant Alloys on activities, of course. And then there's an equivalent one for Ascendant Shards and for exotic ciphers. So those are upgrades that we'll get access to a little bit further down the road. Although, looking at the reagents, the materials for potion crafting, we can see on that menu, it actually gives us details about upcoming activities. So Tomb Flake will be obtained from the Tomb of Elders activity, which confirms the return of Prison of Elders, an updated one of course by the sounds of it, which is set to be the Act 2 activity. So interesting to discover that. On top of that though, there's Reflective Flake, which is obtained from the exotic mission Kells 4. And so presumably, if the updated Prison of Elders is dropping for Act 2, then Kells 4, the exotic mission, much like what we saw in Echoes, will be the Act 3 activity. So it's safe to say there's plenty of interesting stuff to come down the road there. And next up, a hidden reward that we'll get access to soon enough with Festival of the Lost is the new weapon for the event this year, and this is the Arcane Embrace, which is an arc shotgun. And this is a heavy burst shotgun, which is interesting. It fires a hard-hitting 2-round burst, which slightly reduces flinching from incoming fire while aiming. And for the perks, slot 1 can get Air Trigger, as well as 4th times the charm, and Grave Robber. Then there's also Lone Wolf, which slightly improves aim assist, ADS speed, and airborne effectiveness. Then there's Slide Shot, Dual Loader, and Threat Detector. Then in slot 2, we can roll Closing Time, which improves range, accuracy, and handling as the mag gets lower, but also it can roll Desperado, which is going to be interesting. Then there's Precision Instrument, Surrounded, Tap the Trigger, Swashbuckler, and Volt Shot. Then of course it gets the Surge Party Origin trait for Festival, and the weapon's granted faster ADS speed and movement while aiming down sights. So there's a quick preview of the Festival weapon for the year. But for our final mention for this video at least, it would appear that Destiny 2 is getting a Street Fighter crossover, and Destiny Bulletin shared this via JP Deathblade on Twitter. And it looks like the Street Fighter collaboration will feature a Blanca mask that'll be available at Eververse. According to the database, this will be sold for 800 silver and can be used on any class. That's interesting, it looks pretty cool. But there are also some new finishers, which we can't preview obviously outside of the game. But on top of that, there'll be 3 new themed ghost shells for it too. And those look pretty cool. Plus, there's a new emblem called World Warrior, which has the letters KO in the thumbnail right there. So a bunch of interesting stuff to come down the road this season. Funnily enough, I haven't actually been able to play all that much of Revenant just yet, as my internet was totally broken last night. Fortunately, I was able to just about make a couple of videos, but I've got a little bit of catching up to do, at least today. So give us your thoughts on Revenant so far down in the comments section. I've enjoyed what I've played overall at the moment. The tonic crafting component is a little bit convoluted, especially at first. It isn't as complicated as it first looks, but between that and the quests, there are a lot of menus and vendors to visit, which we've kind of come to expect from seasonal content. Bungie have said that they've got improvements for that down the road, so we'll see how it pans out, but otherwise, it looks like there's a lot of pretty neat stuff in Revenant, and I'd love to get your thoughts in the comments section. On top of that, if you've enjoyed the video, a rating below really does help us out. Plus, get subscribed if you want to be kept up to date with more Destiny content. Otherwise though, thanks for watching, and I hope you guys have an awesome day.
I bring a gift, reborn through extinction. Risen, I scorn.
A new species of Scorn are hunting Elixni across the system.
Once he finds you, it's too late. The cruel must be stopped.
Stand against those who would cast us into ruin. Defend our people. But against the dead, killing is not enough. I name you Slayer Baron.